Hi there, my name is Ted Baker. I'm the CEO and Executive Director of the Muncie Innovation Connector, home of the Big Idea Pitch. And it is my pleasure today to introduce you to this year, 2020, Big Idea Pitch Grand Prize winner, #1 in the whole competition, and his name is Kai Markelz. Good afternoon, Kai. How are you?
Good.
Well, good. So how does it feel to be like a winner?
Great.
It does feel great. Well, you know, you're a pretty popular person around here. You know that? And I'm just a little bit concerned that you're trying to steal my job. Is that true?
No.
You're not going to take my job, huh?
No.
Well, okay, good, because I was getting a little bit concerned. So you created something and you presented it at the Big Idea Pitch and you won. And the judges picked you, and I know your mom helped you a little bit, but you were the star of the show. My question is, as a kid, as a young boy, how did you ever come up with the idea that you could even pitch? What made you even feel like you could?
Well, my mom and dad did it, and that inspired me. So I thought maybe I should try doing this. So it took me a long time, but then eventually I came up with Oggles. And I thought instead of just holding goggles to your face, because that'd be kind of boring, I thought we could make like animal designs.
What you're talking about here are your Oggles, your invention. And we have a couple displays here to show you. And these are what we would call Oggles. Now, Kai, tell me, what do Oggles do? What do they help you, and when do you use these?
You use them at bath time, and they help you keep water and soap out of your eyes, because my mom and dad even agreed that bath time was challenging for kids, and we didn't like it.
And why didn't you like bath time? What was the biggest problem?
Well, it was getting our hair washed. Even if we had our heads back and we had rags and everything, we'd still have problems with water and soap getting in our eyes and getting in our ears.
And so you saw a problem, and you thought, what could solve that problem? And so you came up with a solution, and your solution is Oggles. That's amazing. So what did it feel like, going back to the time that you were pitching, what did it feel like to be the only kid pitching? I mean, that's pretty amazing, because most of the people were pitching were college students and adults. And here's a young boy pitching. What did it feel like?
Well, different. I bet the judges didn't expect it. Like, they were like, oh, it's probably just going to be a bunch of adults, and the winner's just probably going to be whoever the winner is.
Yeah.
But then I came in and I pitched my idea, and I bet they were surprised that a kid was pitching an idea.
I think they were very surprised. And for the Big Idea Pitch, we had 6 judges who had really never seen you before and never saw your product before. And so they started, they watched you and they judged you and they picked you as the winner. So when you were pitching, who was more nervous, you or your mom?
Oh, definitely my mom.
And what makes you say that?
Well, I know she has pitched before me, but I don't really know why, but I just felt a little more excited than she was.
Okay, so she was worried probably about all the little details, and you were just ready to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And your mom and your dad won the Big Idea Pitch a couple years ago, and so they were familiar with the process and stuff. So when you won, in just a few weeks, your goal was to really launch your business and to start designing and making Oggles. And you wanted to sell 100 pair of Oggles by Christmas time. And so with about a month, right? Mm-hmm. And so, first of all, did you reach your goal?
Yes, we reached our goal.
So you sold at least 100 sets of Oggles.
Yeah.
And you know what? I bought one set of them because I wanted one for my house. So when you reached your goal, what did you do to celebrate?
We went to Culver's and ate ice cream.
Yeah, well, that's a good way to celebrate, isn't it? Yeah, that's a good thing. What's been the best part of you coming up with your invention? What have you liked about it?
What I liked is creating the Oggles.
Now, did it first start with these right here?
Yep.
And we were going to call them Froggles, right? And then you thought, well, then we could have other things. And so what would we call this one maybe?
Hoggles.
Hoggles. And so we've got all kinds of Oggles here, but the bottom line, these are called Oggles. Now, my grandson, his name is Theo. He's 3 years old, and he'd come to our house and spend the weekend or whatever, and he'd take a bath. He hates getting his hair washed. Cries, screamed, right? And so what I did is I bought a pair of goggles just like this, Oggles just like this, Froggles, and I have them at our house. And the first time he came to our house when we had these, he used them, and it saved so much agony and crying at bath time. And even though he's a brave kid, no one likes getting soap in their eyes, do they?
No.
So how does that make you feel that even someone like, myself and other people out in the community would want to use these, something that you invented? How does that make you feel?
Well, happy.
Okay.
Like we're not just gonna make a couple pairs and have no one buy them, and then they'll just go like in a closet and we'll forget about them. Like people actually use them.
Yeah, people use them, and that's a pretty big deal, isn't it? That's a very satisfying thing for someone who is an inventor, that people will use what you have and what you make, and that's really rewarding and such. And it's kind of neat that when you put these in boxes and shipped them, that's probably a good feeling, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, is there anything else you'd like to tell me about your experience of pitching in the Big Idea Pitch?
No.
No. What else? What did you win when you were at the Big Idea Pitch? What you got kind of an interesting trophy here, didn't you? Yeah. The Big Idea Pitch, first place, 2020. There's no other trophy like this around, right?
No.
Pretty cool. Do you have this at your house? Yeah. And what else did you win? Do you remember what you won?
A $4,000 check.
Yes. What about that? That's a lot of money for a kid, right? Yeah. So what did you do with that money?
Well, my mom and dad thought most of the money should go into making more Oggles, so I got $100, and I just saved it and spent it on things like over time, not just like buy a $100 thing at the store or something.
So then they invested and they bought the supplies to make these, right? And so you have bigger plans for this. We're hoping to grow this into more and more Oggles to sell, right?
Yeah.
Well, if someone who is watching this video is very interested in buying a set of Oggles, these are still for sale. And you can buy them at MyOggles, that's MyOggles.myshopify.com. So that's www.myoggles.myshopify.com. And everything is there that you need to know to order those. So as we end this discussion, I just want to thank you for stepping up to the plate. See, notice the baseball phrase, right? Stepping up to the plate and taking the chance, being very brave to come to the Big Idea Pitch and to share what you've shared of your story, and that you really won. And I think that's a real sign for what's going to happen in your age group of kids, and our future is really good because we got inventors and entrepreneurs just like you. So Kai, thank you for joining us today, and we look forward to seeing the future of Oggles. Okay, good job.